Hi everyone, we are now on day 21 of our watercolour advent challenge, and I'm actually going to do a watercolour candle. So I'm going to start by coming in and creating the candle, and then we'll do a nice background after. So round number 6, a little bit of water. I'm just wetting a column for a candle coming down to a border. I'm going to use some cadmium yellow, same palette, run that along and on the top. So this is just running into the water. A nice cylindrical feel, a little bit of an arch at the top. We're looking up at the candle, so the arch is going upwards. Just try and get the neatest edge you can. And just make sure your candle's vertical. Going to, whilst I've still got a bit of yellow on the brush, dip into that little bit of purple. So that's dioxazine purple or Windsor purple. Yellow and purple are complementary colours, so you'll get a nice shadow happening. And I'm running that down either side. Okay, I'm going to dry that one off. Okay, so that's nicely dry, and what I'm going to do now is take a pencil, draw a little bit of a tip, and then draw the flame. So I've got that there. That way I'm not going into that at all when I'm doing the background. Okay, so that's nicely drawn. I've got a border. I've just popped a little bit of a rough border on there as well, so that I'm keeping within an area. So I'm going, rather than going to trying to do this one straight, I'm going to keep it all rustic. So I am wetting the background. I'm going to wet around the candle. I'm going to wet around the flame. So I've taken on as much as I can with my squirrel mop brush, and I'm going to come in with my round number 10 just to get us nice and close. Remember, where it's shiny it's wet, where it's dull it's dry. And what I've got here, my starting colour, is some Prussian blue. Still very much like phthalo blue. It's just very slightly darker. It seems very much more shooty. It's quite nice how it's just flowed round so quickly. So I want this to be nice and dark. I'm going to come to my edge of my border. I'm going to swap down now to a number 6. And come down this edge. I just need to adjust so that I can get to this much easier. This edge is important and it needs to be straight. So this is what I talk about where I say you need to be horizontal to see a straight edge. I can see that much better this way. I'll twizzle back around. Come around a little bit there. And then what I want to do is to add a little bit of, I'm going to bring this in a little bit more, cadmium red. So this is the glow starting to appear. If your blue is shot quite a lot, you might need to sort of use a damp brush to take some of it back. And then after the cadmium red, I'm going to use a little bit of cadmium yellow. You must always use the red first, otherwise it'll make a green with the blue. So use the red first. You'll get a really nice glowy effect. See that it's glowing. I'm just going to neaten up this edge. Just there, and then I'm going to pop on some table salt. So I've got a nice sort of snowy or starry finish. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that on, and I'm going to let that dry. Then I'm going to come back. So that is nicely dry and looks beautiful in itself. The salt has taken out some flecks, which is really nice. You've got the real lovely brightness of the flame. What I want to do is just with a bit of wet, just wet this inside edge of the flame, and then this, just agitating that edge, will give it a bit more of a softness and glow, and some of that paint can come in and work quite nicely. It's just not quite as harsh and stark then. You're just softening it in a little bit. You've got more of a glowy flame. If I take a tiny bit of this purple, make sure I'm adding plenty of water, I can create a little bit of softer shadow, harder shadow, down the side of the candle. So this is just a very watery purple. It's just giving it a little bit more definition and depth. I'm going to bring that a little bit lower here. Just bring that a bit more on that side so I haven't got that light edge on that side. That's working really nicely. Then the last thing that I need, my detailer brush, is the wick of the candle. So to do that, I'm going to use a tiny bit of Payne's Grey and just pop the wick on. I think if I come a bit closer, you'll be able to see that. And then with a damp brush, I'm just going to soften in that side and just blend that side a little bit so that it's holding together. If you pull a little bit of that paint through, you'll get more of the wick showing. So there we are, a beautiful candle, and I'll see you tomorrow.